Welcome to Book Summary Podcast, your gateway to personal transformation. Each episode delivers big ideas from the world's most impactful books on mindset, productivity, and success, all in just a few minutes. Ready to turn knowledge into action? Let's get started.
Welcome, discerning listeners, to the Deep Dive. Just pause for a moment and consider the landscape around you. Maybe it's those gleaming glass towers that define our modern financial hubs. Or, I don't know, picture the ancient sun-baked ziggurats of a city like Babylon. There's this fundamental truth that echoes through every era. That deep-seated human desire for wealth and the, often frustrating, sometimes bewildering struggle to actually attain it.
Yeah, it's a challenge that really transcends civilizations, doesn't it? From those bustling, dusty markets way back then to the lightning-fast digital marketplaces we have today.
It's an absolute universal human thing, that quest for, security, for opportunity, for a better life through financial means.
But it's equally universal, I think, to feel like we're just constantly running on a treadmill, chasing some elusive dream of prosperity, despite our best efforts.
Oh, that feeling of running in place is incredibly relatable. So today, let's really unpack this. We're taking a deep dive into an ancient text that, honestly, to many might seem like just a historical relic. But surprisingly, it holds profound, maybe even radical relevance for managing money right here, right now in our hyper-modern world. We're talking about George S. Clason's enduring classic, The Richest Man in Babylon.
And our mission for you, our listener today, is really to extract the most important, the most actionable nuggets of knowledge from these timeless parables.
Okay.
We want to help you understand these foundational principles that, they don't just transcend time and culture, they also cut through all the noise of modern financial advice.
Yeah, there's a lot of noise.
There is. So hopefully you'll feel incredibly well informed on the simple yet profoundly powerful laws that govern financial acquisition. These aren't just, historical curiosities. They're like a practical guide, almost a blueprint for anyone seeking sustainable financial success.
Right. Our primary source for this deep dive is, of course, extensive excerpts from George S. Clason's The Richest Man in Babylon itself. And it's quite a story behind the book, too. Clason, born way back in 1874, started publishing these incredible pamphlets on thrift and financial success, starting in 1926.
Wow, yeah.
He made this brilliant creative choice to set his parables in ancient Babylon, a city that, even today remains synonymous with immense wealth, power, and just monumental human achievement.
Totally.
These Babylonian parables, as they quickly became known, found an immediate audience and have since become really a modern inspirational classic, widely distributed by banks, insurance companies, reaching millions of people globally.
And it's essential, I think, to really appreciate the context of that ancient city. The book describes Babylon as truly remarkable, not just for its, monumental engineering feats. Imagine elaborate irrigation systems, the legendary Hanging Gardens, and reclaiming immense swampland at the mouths of the Euphrates and Tigris rivers. Just incredible stuff.
Yeah.
But also for its incredible natural fertility. Herodotus, the famous Greek traveler and historian, he actually visited Babylon during its prime.
Okay.
Yeah. He described its unusual customs, its bountiful harvests of wheat and barley, and of course, its immense wealth, which was, truly unique for its time, built on both ingenuity and natural resources.
It's fascinating how a city forged from such practical ingenuity, literally reclaiming land from swamps, became such an enduring symbol of prosperity.
It really is.
And the book itself doesn't waste any time setting the stage. It starts with this bold assertion that really grabs you. Money is the medium by which earthly success is measured. Money makes possible the enjoyment of the best the earth affords.
Pretty direct.
Very direct. And here's the truly crucial part, the core assertion for our whole deep dive today. Money is plentiful for those who understand the simple laws which govern its acquisition.
Okay, that's the key.
That's the key. And then, the kicker, these laws are proclaimed to be the same today as they were 6,000 years ago.
Wow.
That's a pretty powerful and honestly counterintuitive claim in our complex financial world, isn't it?
It absolutely is. It immediately challenges that common modern perception that finance is inherently complex, mysterious, or, requires advanced degrees and a fleet of experts to navigate.
Right.
Clason's work suggests that the underlying truths are universal, they're enduring, and remarkably accessible to anyone willing to learn and consistently apply them. It sort of democratizes the path to wealth, shifting the focus from, external circumstances to internal discipline.
Okay, so let's jump right into the heart of this ancient wisdom. Let's start with a problem that probably sounds all too familiar to many of you listening right now.
Mm-hmm.
We begin our story with Bansir, the chariot builder, and his friend Kobe, the musician. Now, these are two men who, despite their undeniable dedication and hard work, Bansir to his craft, Kobe to his music, found themselves perpetually, frustratingly broke.
Yeah, the source describes Bansir sitting thoroughly discouraged, just gazing sadly at his simple home and his open workshop, with a partially completed chariot just sitting there.
Yeah.
This image, I think, resonates deeply. Bansir's wife frequently appeared at the open door, her furtive glances serving as this constant silent reminder that their meal bag was almost empty.
Ooh.
He should have been finishing that chariot, hammering, hewing, polishing to collect payment from his wealthy customer. But he just sat there, his fat, muscular body solidly upon the wall, his slow mind, struggling patiently with a problem for which he could find no answer.
It's not just about the lack of money, is it? It's the mental burden.
Exactly. It's the profound mental burden and that soul-crushing weight of perpetual scarcity and financial insecurity. It
Yep.
really highlights how financial stress can just consume your very capacity to act.
Totally. Even with the oppressive heat of the Euphrates Valley beating down, causing, beads of perspiration to trickle, he was too engrossed in his own unsolved problem to even notice the noisy chariots of the rich or the endless lines of slave water carriers passing by.
Yeah, he's literally surrounded by the immense wealth of the richest city in all the world, yet he personally has naught of its abundance. The irony is just thick.
It really is. And then his best friend, Cubby the musician, arrives.
Oh, Kobe.
Cobby, with his usual cheerful, elaborate salute, even asked to borrow a mere 2 humble shekels, thinking Bansir must be prosperous since he's not working.
Right, assumes he's doing well.
And Bansir's gloomy, almost despairing response truly highlights the depth of their predicament. He says, "If I did have 2 shekels, to no one could I lend them, not even to you, my best of friends, for they would be my fortune, my entire fortune. No one lends his entire fortune, not even to his best friend."
Wow. That's a stark, almost heartbreaking revelation of absolute crushing poverty, just nothing left.
Nothing. Cobby's genuine surprise at Bansir's empty purse leads Bansir to explain this torment from the gods,
Yeah.
a vivid dream where he was a man of means, with a purse heavy with coins.
Oh,
Yeah, he imagined casting shekels to beggars, buying beautiful finery for his wife with silver, and feeling assured of the future with pieces of gold. He described it as a glorious feeling of contentment.
But the dream dissolved, right? And upon waking, that feeling of rebellion swept over Bansir as he remembered his empty purse.
Exactly.
This sets up a scenario that so many listeners can undoubtedly relate to. Working tirelessly, applying your skills, living in this incredibly abundant world, yet feeling utterly stuck, unable to accumulate any real wealth.
Yeah.
They ask, why cannot we acquire silver and gold more than enough for food and robes? It's a profound question that really echoes the modern frustration of seeing wealth all around us, but not feeling like we have our fair share.
Right. They're trapped in this cycle where they earn much, but, as the text says, to know the joys that come from wealth, we must dream about them.
They even wonder if their sons will suffer the same fate, living their entire lives amidst treasures of gold, yet content to banquet upon sour goat's milk and porridge.
And this is their aha moment. It's the critical pivot.
Right here.
Cobby wisely observes, "In those things toward which we exerted our best endeavors we succeeded. The gods were content to let us continue thus."
Ooh, that's insightful.
It is. They realized their efforts were focused solely on their craft-building chariots or playing the lyre, not on understanding and managing wealth itself. They'd earned much coin, but it just quickly, mysteriously vanished.
Which highlights a super common trap, right? Equating income with wealth. They're not the same thing at all.
Not at all. Bansir's poignant reflection sums it up perfectly. Why cannot we have our just share of the good things, so plentiful for those who have the gold with which to buy them?
Yeah.
This realization isn't just about disappointment. It's the catalyst for change. It's the moment they decide they need to learn how to acquire and keep wealth, not just how to earn it through sheer labor.
So their path shifts from just sort of passive acceptance to actively seeking knowledge.
Exactly. And this is where it gets really interesting. They decide, logically, to seek out Arkad,
Arkad.
the man rumored to be the richest man in all Babylon, So rich, in fact, that even the king himself is said to seek his golden aid in affairs of the treasury.
Wow.
Kobe points out that Arkad's son, Nomaser, even became rich in Nineveh without aid from his father, which strongly implies that Arkad's knowledge isn't just personal luck, right? It's a teachable, transferable system.
That's a key point. It suggests there's a method.
Right. Banser, his eyes gleaming with new light, concludes, it costs nothing to ask wise advice from a good friend. They realize they are weary of being without gold in the midst of plenty, and that with a new understanding, they can find honorable ways to accomplish their desires.
And that simple decision, just deciding to seek wisdom from someone who's already achieved what they desire, is often the most critical first step towards any significant success, financial or otherwise.
Absolutely.
It shows this profound humility to learn, a willingness to admit what you don't know, and just a determination to change your current path. In a world overflowing with information, identifying and approaching true experts. Still an invaluable skill.
Totally agree. And so, they approach Arkad. We pick up the story as Arkad, born the son of a humble merchant with no hope of an inheritance, explains precisely how he became wealthy.
Okay.
He immediately dismisses any notion that he was endowed with superior powers or wisdom. His success, he states unequivocally, was due to a burning, fundamental desire to claim my share of the good things of life, and the sober realization that time and study would be required to achieve it.
Now, this is a crucial, almost revolutionary point because it immediately democratizes wealth, doesn't it? Arkad wasn't special by birth or inherent talent.
Right.
He emphasized that everyone has time, often in abundance, but few truly use it with purpose to build wealth. He recognized that success wasn't about being gifted, but about diligent study and consistent, persistent application of what was learned.
It's a powerful message. Financial freedom is within reach for anyone willing to put in the intellectual and, practical effort. He then paints this vivid, almost tantalizing picture of what wealth enabled for him, clearly outlining the powerful ambition that drove him. Wealth is a power. With wealth, many things are possible. He talks about adorning his home with the richest furnishings, sailing distant seas, feasting on delicacies, buying exquisite ornaments, even building mighty temples for the gods.
So it's not just about the money itself.
No, it's about the profound freedom, the security, the experiences it provides. He was determined not to be one of those who stand afar off, enviously watching others enjoy.
It's a powerful motivation. That desire for a full, rich life, not just basic subsistence. And Arkad's own journey began in the most humble way possible. He found employment as a scribe.
A scribe?
Yeah, in the Hall of Records, laboring long hours each day upon clay tablets. But week after week, month after month, despite his diligent efforts and hard work, he had naught to show for it.
Still broke.
Still broke. Food and clothing and penance to the gods and other things absorbed all my earnings. This right here illustrates a painfully common trap for so many people today. Oh, yeah.
Earning money, sometimes a significant amount, but never accumulating anything because it all goes out just as quickly as it comes in. It's that cycle of living paycheck to paycheck, regardless of the size of the paycheck.
Sounds depressingly familiar, doesn't it? Even if you have a decent income, if it's all being consumed by expenses, you're making no real progress towards building lasting wealth.
Well, none.
And this is precisely where the legendary Algamish, the shrewd moneylender, enters Arkad's life, changing his trajectory forever.
Algamish arrives.
Algamish needed a long law copied overnight, offered 2 coppers. Arkad, with a flash of insight, seized a far greater opportunity. He bargained for wisdom instead. Tell me how I may also become rich, and all night I will carve upon the clay.
Bold move. And Algamish's initial advice was deceptively simple, yet in its implications utterly revolutionary. I found the road to wealth when I decided that a part of all I earned was mine to keep, and so will you.
Arkad's immediate reaction was, well, natural disbelief, right? But all I earn is mine to keep, is it not?
Yeah, makes sense to think that. But Algamish's blunt reply cut straight to the core of the issue, exposing a fundamental flaw in Arkad's, and frankly, many people's thinking. Far from it. You pay to everyone but yourself. Dullard, you labor for others, as well be a slave and work for what your master gives you to eat and wear.
Ouch. That's harsh, but pointed.
Very pointed.
Yeah.
Algamish tells him, with striking clarity, if you did keep for yourself 1/10 of all you earn, you would have more value in 10 years than you now own.
10%.
This is the absolute foundation, the core principle, paying yourself first. Arkad decided to take one from each 10 pieces of copper and hid it away.
Okay.
And here's the strange yet utterly crucial observation he makes.
Yeah.
He felt no shorter of funds than before. He managed to get along just as well.
Isn't that interesting?
It is. What's more, almost magically, coins even began to come to him more easily. It's almost as if the very act of valuing himself by saving created a magnetic effect for more wealth.
This simple act of saving just 1/10, often overlooked precisely because it is so simple, can drastically change your financial trajectory. It's not just about the money you saved. It creates this powerful psychological shift.
How so?
Well, every time you consciously prioritize your future self over immediate gratification, you're building a powerful neural pathway, in a world saturated with buy now, pay later temptations
Oh, yeah.
and instant gratification. This ancient discipline is arguably more radical and certainly more necessary than ever. It's like a quiet act of rebellion against consumerism.
A quiet act of rebellion. I like that.
Yeah.
But merely saving isn't enough, right? What you do with those savings is equally critical, and Arkad learned this the hard way.
Oh, yes, the first investment attempt.
His first attempt to invest his savings was, as he put it, a tragedy. He entrusted it to Asmor, a brickmaker.
A brickmaker, not a jeweler.
Exactly. Asmor claimed he was traveling over the far seas, and in Tyre he would buy for me the rare jewels of the Phoenicians. The problem? The Phoenicians, according to Arkad, were scoundrels and sold him bits of glass. His hard-earned treasure was utterly lost.
Ugh. This teaches such a painful yet vital lesson about seeking competent, specialized advice. Algamish's rebuke was sharp, almost a slap in the face. Every fool must learn, but why trust the knowledge of a brickmaker about jewels? Would you go to the bread maker to inquire about the stars?
Ah, good point.
He emphasized, with timeless wisdom, advice is one thing that is freely given away, but watch that you take only what is worth having. He who takes advice about his savings from someone inexperienced in such matters, he'll pay with his savings for proving the falsity of their opinions.
So true. Especially today with, social media and everyone being an expert.
Exactly. That advice feels more potent than ever.
Algamish didn't mince words either, telling Arkad, "Your savings are gone, youth. You have jerked your wealth tree up by the roots. But plant another. Try again."
Gotta love the tough love.
Right. Fortunately, Arkad did try again, and this time he sought better counsel. He entrusted his savings to Agar the shield maker to buy bronze.
Okay, a craftsman again, but maybe more related to materials.
Right, and from this he received a rental, or interest, each fourth month. Crucially, he then reinvested these rentals, causing his capital increase, but its earnings likewise increased.
Ah, so this is where the powerful concept of compound interest comes into play, making your money work for you, letting it have children and children's children.
Exactly. Algamish, upon seeing Arkad consuming these initial earnings, famously laughed and said, "You do eat the children of your savings. Then how do you expect them to work for you? And how can they have children that will also work for you? First get thee an army of golden slaves, and then many a rich banquet may you enjoy without regret."
That metaphor of golden slaves is incredibly vivid and effective, isn't it? It illustrates how money, once invested wisely, can tirelessly generate more wealth for you. It's this passive income stream that grows exponentially over time. It's the ultimate form of leverage.
It's absolutely brilliant. So by the time Algamish saw him again 2 years later, a much older man now, Arkad had truly learned his lessons. He summarized them profoundly. You first learned to live upon less than you could earn.
Check. Cure number 1.
Next, you learn to seek advice from those who are competent through their own experiences to give it.
Check. Don't ask the brickmaker about jewels.
And lastly, you have learned to make gold work for you.
Check. Compound interest, the golden slaves.
Arkad's mastery of these 3 seemingly simple laws made him competent for a responsible position, eventually even sharing in Algamish's estate. So what does this all mean for us? It means the path to wealth is clear, it's not mysterious, and it fundamentally relies on consistent habits.
Indeed. Arkad's eventual success wasn't about some secret formula or hidden talent, was it? It was about consistent adherence to these simple principles. It wasn't just about making money through labor, but knowing how to keep it and, crucially, how to make it grow independently. This really sets the stage for thinking about how we perceive wealth itself.
And that's a perfect transition, because Arkad's friends, still struggling with their own empty purses, immediately asked why fickle fate singled him out for such prosperity.
Ah, the luck argument.
Exactly. Arkad wasted no time dispelling this very common, very comforting, but ultimately unhelpful notion. He argued that fickle fate is a vicious goddess who brings no permanent good to anyone.
Interesting take.
Yeah. On the contrary, he said, she makes wanton spenders, who soon dissipate all they receive, leaving them with overwhelming appetites they can't gratify. Or she turns recipients into misers, who hoard their wealth out of fear, fearing to spend it, knowing they lack the ability to replace it, thus dooming themselves to lives of emptiness and secret misery.
Wow. So luck, even if you get it, can be destructive if you don't have the wisdom to handle it.
That's the implication. True, sustainable wealth, Arcot asserts, is earned and actively managed, not merely received. He directly challenged his audience in the Temple of Learning, asking them to name a single person who started their success from gambling. No single one who started his success from such a source, he stated, and he even admitted, I must confess to have lost far more coins there than I have ever won at the races.
Ha! Even the richest man lost at the races.
Right. It's a clear, timeless message. Genuine, lasting wealth isn't found in a game of chance or a lottery ticket. It's built, not won.
So if it's not fickle fate or gambling, where does opportunity truly lie? There was that interesting discussion when a cloth weaver found a purse with gold and sought to attract good luck.
Yeah, Arcad, ever the pragmatist, challenged the idea of luck as pure chance. An elderly merchant then recounted a tale that vividly illustrated how good luck waits to come to that man who accepts opportunity.
Ah, the merchant story.
He had a clear chance to invest in irrigating barren land, a venture that promised great profit and had been carefully considered.
But he hesitated, didn't he? His desire for beautiful new robes and other pleasures of the moment, that immediate gratification again outweighed his long-term vision and potential gain.
Exactly. He delayed making a decision until it was too late, missing out on an enterprise that proved more profitable than any man had prophesied.
Ouch. That's a powerful, enduring lesson on preparedness and timely action, isn't it? Opportunity isn't about finding a lost wallet. It's about recognizing and acting on sound, well-conceived ventures.
Ventures that require thoughtful consideration, yes, but also decisive action. It's that intersection of preparation and readiness.
And remember that Syrian stranger in the crowd? Not mincing words, he vividly labeled the merchant a procrastinator.
Yeah, he said, opportunity, she will not wait for such slow fellow. She thinks if a man desires to be lucky, he will step quick. Any man not step quick when opportunity comes, he big procrastinator, like our friend, this merchant.
Huh. That's blunt, but deeply insightful. It hammers home that procrastination isn't just a minor habit, it's an enemy, ever watching and waiting to thwart my accomplishments. It's the silent killer of potential.
Absolutely. Both the merchant and another man who confessed to fighting this enemy had missed profitable deals due to similar procrastination.
It implies that recognizing and conquering this internal foe, that tendency to delay, to overthink, to be paralyzed by choice, is just as important as identifying external opportunities. It's about building the internal discipline to act when the time is right.
Speaking of internal qualities, a friend praised Arcad's strong willpower, suggesting that was his secret to financial success.
Ah, willpower, the magic bullet.
Right, but Arcad quickly dismissed it as nonsense. He defined willpower not as some mystical, innate strength, but as the unflinching purpose to carry a task you set for yourself to fulfillment.
Okay, so it's about follow-through.
Exactly. He illustrated this with a simple, almost childlike test he conducted for himself, picking up a pebble every day from the road across the bridge into the city and casting it into the stream.
Just one pebble.
Just one. The discipline in this anecdote is remarkable for its sheer consistency. If he forgot, he would retrace his steps, no matter the inconvenience. He would never rationalize, saying, tomorrow I will cast 2 pebbles, or this is useless, throw in a handful and be done with it.
Wow, that's dedication to a tiny task.
It subtly teaches a profound truth. Willpower isn't about grand, superhuman feats of self-control, but consistent, deliberate, almost mundane action.
Like building a muscle, bit by bit.
Precisely. He even admitted he was careful not to start difficult and impractical tasks because I love leisure.
Huh. That's pragmatic. Set achievable goals, conquer them consistently, and thereby build confidence and momentum. It's about sustainable effort, not sporadic heroism.
What a practical way to build self-discipline. Then another friend raised a common economic concern, one that still resonates today. If what you tell is true, then being so simple. If all men did it, there would not be enough wealth to go around.
Ah, the fixed pie fallacy.
Exactly. Arcad's response directly addresses this core economic misconception. He replied with powerful clarity, wealth grows wherever men exert energy.
How did he explain that?
He provided a compelling example. If a rich man builds him a new palace, is the gold he pays out gone? No, the brickmaker has part of it, and the laborer has part of it, and the artist has part of it.
Right, it circulates.
It circulates. He explains that while the gold is distributed among many, the completed palace, its ground, and even adjoining land become worth more than before.
Ah, so value is created.
Precisely. This powerfully explains how wealth isn't a fixed pie to be divided. It can be created and multiplied through productive effort, innovation, and trade. The Phoenicians, who famously built great cities on barren coasts with wealth generated from commerce, are another powerful historical example. It's about creating new value, not just shuffling existing resources.
It's about creation, not just redistribution. That makes sense.
And this leads us directly to Arcad's practical application of his wisdom, the culmination of his life's learning. His 7 cures for a lean purse.
Okay, the practical steps.
These aren't just abstract ideas, they are concrete, actionable steps.
Yes, the king of Babylon, recognizing Arcad's wisdom and concerned that the city's wealth was concentrated among just a few, decreed that Arcad teach these principles to all citizens. Arcad, an old man by now, accepted this weighty task, assembling a class of 100 men in the Temple of Learning. He presented his 7 cures for a lean purse, emphasizing that he started his own fortune in the humblest way, with no advantage not enjoyed as fully by you and every citizen in Babylon.
That universality again, very important.
Absolutely key to their enduring power.
So these cures are indeed truly universal. Let's dive into them. The first cure, the bedrock of all the others, is simply, start thy purse to fattening.
Cure number 1?
Arcad states it so clearly. For every 10 coins thou placest within thy purse, take out for use but 9. This means consciously saving at least 10% of everything you earn.
Pay yourself first.
He reiterates his personal experience, noting that when he began to save 1/10, she managed to get along just as well. He was no shorter than before, and strangely, coins even began to come to him more easily.
That weird magnetic effect again.
Yeah. It's about making a profound choice between immediate, fleeting gratification, a jewel, finer raiment, more food, and substantial belongings, gold, lands, herds, merchandise, income-bringing investments. The coins you spend bring the former. The coins you leave in your purse bring the latter.
So it's not just about saving money, it's about valuing your future self more than your present desires.
Exactly. This foundational cure stresses a crucial, counterintuitive truth. Consciously deciding to keep a portion of your earnings first, before any other expenses, is paramount.
It's not about what you earn, necessarily, but what you retain and prioritize. In modern terms, this is often automated, right? Direct deposits into savings or investment accounts.
Right. Takes the willpower out of it sometimes.
It bypasses that psychological temptation to spend what you see in your checking account. This automatic self-payment is a habit that, over time, removes friction and builds wealth almost without conscious effort. It's simple, but not always easy because it requires delaying gratification. That's a muscle that must be consistently exercised.
Which brings us neatly to the second cure, intimately linked to the first. Control thy expenditures.
Budgeting.
Yes. One student wearing a robe of red and gold immediately protested, calling a budget the slavery of a budget, believing it would take much pleasure from my life.
Ah, a sentiment many people echo today, viewing budgeting as restrictive, like a punishment.
Totally. But Arcad countered that the budget's true purpose is to help thy purse to fatten. It allows one to have necessities and, insofar as attainable, thy other desires, not eliminate them entirely.
So Arcad brilliantly reframes budgeting not as a restriction, but as an empowering, illuminating tool. He likens it to a bright light in a dark cave, showing leaks from thy purse, those unconscious, often small expenditures that drain your resources.
The little things that add up.
Exactly. And it enables one to stop them and control expenditures for definite and gratifying purposes. It's about distinguishing between casual wishes and truly cherished desires, giving you conscious control over your money rather than letting your money control you.
That intentionality is key. It's not about saying no to everything.
Right. It's about saying yes to what truly matters and no to the things that silently sabotage your financial future. It's about aligning your spending with your values.
Okay, so once you've started fattening your purse and consciously controlling where your money goes, the third cure naturally follows. Make thy gold multiply.
Put it to work.
Arcad urges, with that fantastic metaphor, make it your slave. Make it its children and its children's children work for you. This reemphasizes the powerful concept we touched on earlier with Agar, the shield maker.
Yeah, transforming your saved money from just idle cash into an active wealth-generating force.
This is about actively putting your savings to work, ensuring a continuous golden stream of income that flows into your purse whether you actively work or are, traveling.
And in a modern context, this means understanding things like diversified portfolios, investing in broad market index funds, maybe strategic real estate, rather than just letting cash sit in a low-interest savings account.
Right.
These are your modern golden slaves, tirelessly generating returns, multiplying through intelligent investment and the relentless power of compounding interest. It's the difference between earning a living and having your money earn a living for you.
Which leads directly into the fourth cure, a critical one for protecting all that hard-earned growth. Guard thy treasures from loss.
Protect your principal.
Arcad wisely states, misfortune loves a shining mark. Gold in a man's purse must be guarded with firmness, else it be lost. This cure directly addresses Arcad's painful early failure with the brickmaker Asmore.
Right, who bought the worthless glass. It's a harsh reminder that not all opportunities are equal, and some are just outright traps.
The first sound principle of investment, Arcad emphasizes, is absolute security for thy principal. He warns explicitly against being intrigued by larger earnings when thy principal may be lost, stating the penalty of risk is probable loss.
Makes sense? Higher reward often means higher risk.
He advises studying carefully before parting with your treasure, ensuring it can be safely reclaimed if desired. And crucially, he warns, be not misled by thine own romantic desires to make wealth rapidly.
Ah, the get-rich-quick temptation?
Exactly. Instead, consult with wise men. Secure the advice of those experienced in the profitable handling of gold. Let their wisdom protect thy treasure from unsafe investments.
This is a stark warning against emotional or uninformed investing, isn't it? Against the allure of those get-rich-quick schemes. It champions due diligence, understanding the risks, maybe even understanding the role of regulatory bodies today in protecting investors.
Sound advice then, absolutely critical now. The fifth cure is maybe a bit different. Make of thy growling a profitable investment.
Homeownership.
Right. Arcad recommends that every man own the roof that sheltereth him and his. He speaks of the gladness of eating figs from one's own trees and grapes from one's own vines, this deep sense of rootedness and self-sufficiency.
Yeah, owning a home, he explains, putteth confidence in his heart and greater effort behind all his endeavors.
This cure highlights the profound psychological and tangible benefits of homeownership. It transforms a recurring expense, like rent, into an investment that can grow in value and provide a crucial sense of security and pride.
And he notes that in Babylon, moneylenders would gladly consider loans for this purpose if one could provide a reasonable portion of the sum themselves.
Right.
The idea is to convert a necessary living expense into a wealth-building asset over time, providing both shelter and a foundation for future financial growth. It's often the first large asset many people acquire, isn't it?
It definitely is for many. And finally, the sixth cure for a lean purse is to ensure a future income.
Planning for the long term. Retirement, family protection.
Exactly. This is about long-term financial planning and security, specifically providing in advance for the needs of thy growing age and the protection of thy family.
He tells that powerful story, right, about the man saving just 2 silver pieces a week.
Yeah. In 4 years, this seemingly small sum accumulated to 1,040 silver pieces, and Arcad calculated it could grow to 4,000 in 12 more years, providing a worthy competence for the rest of his life.
It is a fantastic illustration of the magic of consistent, small contributions over time, leveraging the power of compounding to build substantial wealth for retirement.
Arcad even speculates about a future plan resembling what we know as life insurance.
Really? Back then?
Yeah, where many men pay in but a trifling sum regularly, the aggregate making a handsome sum for the family of each member who passes to the beyond. He sees this as a great blessing, ensuring a snug fortune for families even from the first small payment.
Wow, that's incredibly forward-thinking. It underscores the timeless need for long-term provision, whether through modern retirement vehicles like 401ks and IRAs, or through various forms of insurance and annuities. It's about building a financial fortress for your later years and for your loved ones.
Arcad reiterates that these 7 cures are drawn not from theory, but from his long and successful life and observations of the wealthy. He declares with optimism, there is more gold in Babylon. There is abundance for all.
Hopeful.
His call to action is direct and empowering. Go thou forth and practice these truths that thou mayest prosper and grow wealthy, as is thy right. Go thou forth and teach these truths that every honorable subject of his majesty may also share liberally in the ample wealth of our beloved city.
So these cures are powerful, practical, and timeless. But the question remains, how do they hold up under the crucible of true hardship? And how do they even translate to the very real struggles of today?
This question leads us perfectly into the story of Dabasir, the saddle maker.
Ah, Dabasir.
His journey illustrates the painful consequences of ignoring these very laws, and then, profoundly, the path to redemption by embracing them.
Right. Tabasir, once a saddle maker in Babylon, earned little, but crucially, indulged his whims, spent more than he earned, and accumulated crippling debts. He was young and inexperienced, not knowing that he who spends more than he earns is sowing the winds of needless self-indulgence, from which he is sure to reap the whirlwinds of trouble and humiliation.
His life quickly became miserable. His wife, unable to bear the endless struggle, returned to her father.
A common consequence, sadly, of financial strain on relationships.
Totally. And in despair, he decided to flee Babylon, seeking easy wealth elsewhere. But instead, he fell in with robbers, leading him down a path of further degradation and moral compromise.
Yeah, he eventually found himself captured and sold into slavery in Syria for a mere 2 pieces of silver.
2 pieces of silver.
The indignity of his situation is chillingly described as he faced the prospect of being made a eunuch by his master's wives. This truly highlights the devastating whirlwind of trouble and humiliation that comes from chronic financial irresponsibility and the pursuit of shortcuts.
His situation was desperate, a stark contrast to his former life as a free man. But then a pivotal encounter occurs with Sira, his master's first wife.
Right. Sira rescues him from the fate of becoming a eunuch by needing a camel tender. And she later challenges him profoundly, addressing the very core of his self-perception and his apparent helplessness.
What did she say?
She asks, "How can you call yourself a free man when your weakness has brought you to this? If a man has in himself the soul of a slave, will he not become one no matter what his birth?"
Wow. Powerful stuff.
She continues with brutal honesty. "If a man has within him the soul of a free man, will he not become respected and honored in his own city in spite of his misfortune?"
This is a crucial philosophical underpinning of the book, isn't it? Financial freedom is inextricably tied to a mindset of personal responsibility and decisive action, not birth or external circumstance.
Exactly. She pushes him, saying, "Thy debts are thy enemies. They ran thee out of Babylon. You left them alone, and they grew too strong for thee. Hadst fought them as a man, thou couldst have conquered them and been one honored among the townspeople."
She reframes debt as an enemy to be fought.
A powerful reframing. Sira articulates the core belief that the soul of a free man looks at life as a series of problems to be solved and solves them, while the soul of a slave whines, "What can I do who am but a slave?"
That challenge must have ignited something in him.
It ignites a fierce determination in Dabasir to regain his self-respect and conquer his enemies, his crippling debts. It's a call to agency to reclaim control over one's life.
And his path to redemption is truly remarkable, a testament to the power of resolve. Sira helps him escape, gives him camels, a disguise.
Right.
He returns to Babylon, no longer seeking easy wealth, but driven by a singular, honorable purpose to pay his debts. He visits each creditor, explaining his honest plan, to pay 2/10 of all I earn upon my indebtedness evenly and honestly. He admits he can pay this much, but no more, asking for their patience.
That takes guts, and it demonstrates profound accountability and discipline as key to financial recovery. The creditors' reactions varied, right? Some glad, some reviling him.
Yeah, a mix. But most accepted his sincere plan, recognizing his newfound determination. Mathon, the gold lender, we'll hear more about him soon. Recognizing Dabasir's determination and valuable knowledge of camels, sends him to Nebuchadnezzar, a camel trader working for the king.
So his skills became valuable again.
Exactly. Dabasir puts his expertise to good use and, slowly but surely, over time, repays every copper and every piece of silver. He finally feels like an honorable man among men.
His story proves that enduring truth. Where the determination is, the way can be found. It's like a blueprint for escaping even the deepest financial pits.
What a redemption story. And this brings us to another powerful narrative that reinforces Arkad's wisdom, shared by Calibod, a packmaster, who heard it directly from Nomasur.
Arkad's own son.
Right. In this story, Arkad gives Nomasir a bag of gold and a clay tablet inscribed with the 5 laws of gold, challenging him to prove himself worthy of his inheritance in 10 years by applying these principles.
Okay, so this narrative is important because it validates Arkad's wisdom through his son's direct lived experience, which included both initial failure and eventual success. It shows that even with the best advice, you have to learn through application.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
Nomasir's initial folly was losing his gold, through unwise buying and foolish spending and a disastrous partnership.
So he messed up first.
Big time. He realized he should have sought wisdom and applied discipline first, confirming Arcad's earlier lesson about seeking competent advice and controlling impulses.
So after his initial painful missteps, Nomisur, having learned the hard way, carefully studied the clay tablet with his father's wisdom, and he then reiterates these profound 5 laws of gold to Calabab.
They serve as this powerful, concise distillation of Arcad's teachings, the essence of successful financial stewardship.
Let's quickly go through them again, because they are truly the core principles that stand the test of time, almost like natural laws of prosperity.
Okay, Law 1.
Law 1. Gold comes to those who save not less than 1/10 of their earnings. That foundational principle again, paying yourself first, that non-negotiable portion.
Law 2.
Law 2. Gold labors diligently for the wise owner finding profitable employment, making your money work for you, letting it compound through wise investment. Your money shouldn't sit idle.
Law 3.
Law 3. Gold clings to cautious owners who invest under the advice of wise men. Critical importance of seeking expert, proven counsel and avoiding unwise, uninformed risks, humility, and due diligence.
Law 4.
Law 4. Gold slips from those who invest in unfamiliar businesses or without expert approval. A direct warning against ventures you don't understand or those not vetted by truly experienced individuals. Avoid the allure of the next big thing if you don't grasp its fundamentals.
And the final one, Law 5.
Law 5. Gold flees those who force impossible earnings or follow tricksters and their own romantic desires. A crucial caution against get-rich-quick schemes, reckless speculation, and naive ambition that overrides sound judgment. If it sounds too good to be true.
It probably is.
Almost certainly.
Nomisur's story concludes with his impressive success once he consistently applied these laws. His gold, he found, increased more and more rapidly, leveraging the power of compounding.
So he proved the system worked.
He did. This enabled him to return to Arcad not just the initial gold, but 2 bags of gold he had earned through his newfound wisdom. He tells his father with powerful conviction, "Without wisdom, gold is quickly lost. But with wisdom, gold can be secured by those who have it not."
It's a powerful testament to the overriding value of knowledge and disciplined application over mere capital itself, isn't it? Wisdom trumps gold.
Absolutely. And here's where we bring this ancient wisdom into startlingly modern relevance. The source includes actual letters from Professor Alfred H. Shrewsbury, written in 1934 and 1936.
Wow, real letters.
Real letters to Professor Caldwell, who excavated Dabasir's very clay tablets. These letters are a crucial validation, proving the timelessness and direct applicability of these principles, even in the face of modern financial crises like the Great Depression era when these were written.
That's incredible. So what did they say?
The Shrewsburys were in desperate straits, with mounting debts, feeling frightfully humiliated, and worried sick about creditors knocking on their door. They described a vicious circle that grew worse instead of better.
Sounds familiar for many people trapped in debt.
Totally. They were forced to buy on credit, regardless of higher costs. Couldn't even move to less costly rooms because they owed the landlord. Their struggles were getting hopeless, a common cry even today when people feel overwhelmed and trapped by debt.
So what changed?
Professor Shrewsbury found Dabasir's ancient tablets. Inspired, they applied Dabasir's exact plan, made a meticulous list of all debts, presented it with humility and honesty to each creditor, explaining how it was impossible to pay the old way.
Just like Dabasir.
Exactly. They offered to pay 20% of my income each month to be divided pro rata, which they calculated would clear their debts in a little over 2 years. Crucially, they also promised to operate strictly on a cash basis going forward.
Offering 20% plus future cash business. Smart. How did the creditors react?
It's wonderful, often surprising. Their greengrocer, described as a wise old chap, put it simply. "If you pay for all you buy and then pay some on what you owe, that is better than you have done, for ye ain't paid down the account none in 3 years.
Ha! Practical acceptance.
They secured an agreement protecting them from harassment, as long as they paid the 20%. Then, the most radical part, they began scheming on how to live upon 70% of their income.
Okay, 20% for debt, 70% to live on. What about the last 10%?
That remaining 10% was for them to jingle and eventually invest, following Arcad's first rule.
Wow. Even while paying off debt, they started saving and investing 10%. That's discipline.
Incredible discipline. And this transformation was radical, not just financially, but psychologically. Professor Shrewsbury describes it not as a burden, but as an adventure. And they managed, and write cheerfully at that.
That's amazing.
The most satisfying part, he writes, was that their initial investment, funded by that jingling 10%, was growing steadily, providing a most gratifying sense of security. By the time his teaching days are over, he projects it should be a snug sum, large enough so the income will take care of us from then on.
A clear path to financial independence built on ancient principles during the Depression.
All this, he marvels, out of my same old check. Difficult to believe, yet absolutely true. He emphasizes the profound, radical difference in results between following a financial plan and just drifting along. Dabussier's message, he says, after 5,000 years, has risen out of the ruins of Babylon, just as true and just as vital as the day it was buried.
That gives me chills. It's not just theory, it's a proven historical path to financial recovery and lasting prosperity. It's a testament to the fact that these truths are embedded in human nature and economics.
The power of these truths is further demonstrated through the transformation of Hadan Gula.
Ah, the spoiled youth.
Right, encountered by Sharunada, the seasoned caravan leader. Hadan Gula epitomizes privilege without purpose. He despises work and longs for inherited wealth, openly stating, work was made for slaves.
Ooh, the exact opposite of Arkad and Dabussier's lessons.
Totally. Sharunada, deeply troubled by this destructive mindset, decides to intervene, telling him Dabussier's entire harrowing story.
Must have been quite the story.
It's an incredible moment of revelation and confrontation, as Sharunada then reveals that Hadan Gula's own revered grandfather was once a slave in Babylon, Dabussir himself.
No way, his grandfather was Dabussir.
Yes, this shocking truth challenges Hadan Gula's pride and his disdain for work, forcing him to confront the reality of his lineage and the transformative power of purposeful action and personal responsibility.
That must have hit him hard.
He's moved so deeply that he begins to shed his jeweled baubles, symbolizing his rejection of his former frivolous ways and an embrace of a more meaningful path. It shows that these ancient truths, delivered at the right moment, can transform even the most resistant individuals, inspiring purpose where only idleness existed.
This transition from arrogance to humility, sparked by a painful but necessary truth, is a powerful testament to the enduring impact of Dabussier's story. It's a profound reminder that true freedom, financial or otherwise, often comes through accepting responsibility and embracing the disciplines that build lasting value. It's a journey from entitlement to empowerment.
So we've covered saving, investing, overcoming bad habits, even recovering from crushing debt. But what about the critical art of lending and borrowing?
Right, a fundamental aspect of finance.
We can find immense wisdom on this, from Mathon, the gold lender, to the dilemma of Rodin, the spearmaker.
Okay, Rodin's story.
Rodin receives a windfall, 50 pieces of gold, as a generous gift from the king. Immediately, his sister's husband approaches, wanting to borrow it.
Ugh, the classic family loan dilemma. Puts Rodin in a very common, very uncomfortable spot.
Exactly. Rodin, unsure what to do, wisely seeks advice from Mathon, the seasoned gold lender. Mathon immediately understands Rodin's predicament. He emphasizes that gold brings not just opportunity, but also immense responsibility and fear lest he lose it or it be tricked away from him. But also, if managed wisely, a feeling of power and ability to do good.
So wealth comes with baggage, good and bad.
Right. Mathon then tells this very illustrative parable about a farmer of Nineveh who could understand animal language. The ox complains to the ass about its hard labor.
Okay.
And the ass, intending to help its friend, advises the ox to feign sickness for a day of rest. The next morning, the ox pretends to be sick, so the farmer simply hitches the ass to the plow instead.
Oh no. The ass ends up doing the ox's hard work.
Exactly. Its heart bitter, legs weary from the unexpected burden.
So the moral Mathon draws is simple yet profound. If you desire to help thy friend, do so in a way that will not bring thy friend's burdens upon thyself.
That highlights the crucial danger of enabling irresponsibility and suffering the consequences yourself, doesn't it? Helping should empower the friend towards self-sufficiency, not create new burdens for the helper.
It's a critical lesson in setting healthy boundaries with financial assistance. Sometimes the most helpful thing is not to provide a handout without clear terms or a productive purpose.
Mathon then illustrates his lending philosophy through the various tokens he keeps in his token chest.
Ah, the token chest. Each tells a story.
Right. He pulls out a bronze neck piece. This belonged to a friend who spent lavishly on a beautiful, non-Babylonian wife, lost all his gold to her extravagance, and eventually died in a quarrel with her.
Ouch.
Mathon's somber lesson. Humans in the throes of great emotions are not safe risks for the gold lender. Lending based purely on emotion, without sound judgment of character and purpose, is perilous.
A timeless warning against mixing sentimentality with financial decisions.
Next, an oxbone ring. This belonged to a farmer whose crop was destroyed by locusts. Mathon helped him. He repaid promptly. Later, the same farmer borrowed again for a new herd of long-haired goats to produce valuable rugs. Also successful, repaid promptly.
So Mathon's clear lesson here. If they borrow for purposes that bring money back to them, I find it so. This highlights lending for productive income-generating purposes, where the borrowed money creates value and enables repayment.
Exactly. Not just consumption. Then, a heavy gold bracelet. Lent to a mother for her son to become a merchant partner, but the partner was a rascal who abandoned the boy, losing the investment. Mathon knew the risk, but the mother offered security.
So the lesson.
His painful lesson. Youth often borrows unwisely due to inexperience, lack of judgment, and overambition. Hopeless debt is like a deep pit, a powerful caution against lending to the inexperienced, even with good intentions or collateral, if their plan lacks sound judgment. It's about discerning competence.
In stark contrast, Mathon holds up a bit of pack rope tied in a knot. This belonged to Nepatur, the wise camel trader.
The one who hired Dabasir.
Exactly. Mathon lent to him for larger herds that expanded his highly profitable business. Mathon says he has confidence in his good judgment and can lend him freely. The lesson: lend to those with established success, who have a proven track record.
Makes sense. Lend to reliable, capable individuals. And finally, an Egyptian beetle carved in turquoise, tossed contemptuously on the floor.
Ooh, contemptuously.
Belonged to an overzealous youth, pledged by his worthy father's land, who failed due to immature knowledge and chasing unrealistic returns. The youth, now in despair, doesn't care to repay, leaving Mathon with a moral dilemma about taking the father's land.
So the lesson there is extreme caution. Beware of those seeking shortcuts to wealth, who disregard fundamentals, and those who lack commitment to repayment when things go wrong.
Mathon's direct advice to Rodin, then, is a clear distillation of all these experiences. Rodin expresses his primary desire for his 50 gold pieces, to keep it safe.
Safety first, prudent.
Mathon approves. Wisely spoken. It should be made to earn and grow larger. He warns Rodin explicitly, be not swayed by foolish sentiments of obligation to trust thy treasure to any person.
Don't let family pressure override judgment.
Right. He advises against fantastic plans of impractical men who think they see ways to force thy gold to make earnings unusually large, calling them creations of dreamers unskilled in the safe and dependable laws of trade. Instead, be conservative in expected earnings and prioritize principal safety.
He tells Rodin to hire it out with a promise of usurious returns is to invite loss.
His final counsel is clear and resonant. Seek to associate thyself with men and enterprises whose success is established that thy treasure may earn liberally under their skillful use and be guarded safely by their wisdom and experience.
And as a powerful final reminder, Mathon reveals an inscription carved beneath the lid of his token box. Better a little caution than a great regret.
Wow, that sums it up perfectly.
This is such rich wisdom, isn't it? Applicable not just to formal lending, but to so many aspects of our personal financial lives, especially when family or friends ask for help. From managing income to making investments and navigating those complex, often emotional, lending decisions, Mathon's insights are invaluable. Prudence, purpose, proven character.
And so we've journeyed through the dust and wisdom of ancient Babylon, through the desperate struggles of 1930s England, seeing how enduring, how profoundly practical these principles of wealth acquisition truly are.
From Arcad's simple yet profound 7 cures, paying yourself first, controlling expenditures, making gold multiply, guarding your treasure, making your dwelling an investment, ensuring a future income, these aren't just suggestions. They're powerful, time-tested cures empowering individuals to take control.
We saw how Davasir turned his life around from the depths of slavery by acknowledging his enemies, his debts, and demonstrating unflinching determination and accountability.
His journey underscores that true financial freedom is often a mindset first, leading inevitably to disciplined action. And then his grandson, Hadan Gula, transformed by hearing Dabasir's raw story, shedding his pride and jeweled baubles, to embrace purpose and honest labor.
And we saw how Namasir, Arkad's own son, truly validated his father's wisdom over gold itself, proving the enduring power of the 5 laws of gold through his own trials and successes and failures.
Right. And from Mathon's humble token box, we learned that lending is an art form demanding wisdom, profound caution, and a keen assessment of the true purpose and character of the borrower. These lessons aren't just historical curiosities. They are practical maps for navigating personal finance today.
The sources repeatedly assert that wealth isn't a matter of pure luck or an accident of birth, or some obscure secret.
No, instead it is, almost axiomatically, a direct result of understanding and consistently applying these simple, timeless laws. They emphasize patience, unwavering discipline, and the continuous pursuit of practical knowledge.
As we conclude this deep dive, consider this powerful phrase directly from the source material. In the strength of thine own desires is a magic power. Guide this power with thy knowledge of the 5 laws of gold, and thou shalt share the treasures of Babylon.
The strength of thine own desires.
What treasures beyond mere gold might you unlock in your own life? Perhaps peace of mind, newfound freedom, the ability to pursue your deepest passions by consistently applying this ancient yet profoundly practical wisdom.
That combination, desire guided by knowledge and action, that seems to be the real key, doesn't it? It holds the potential for more than just financial prosperity.
Something powerful to think about.
Thanks for tuning in to the Book Summary Podcast. If you found value in today's episode, hit that like button, subscribe for more summaries, and share it with someone who's ready to grow. Want deeper insights, exclusive book notes, and reading tips? Join our free newsletter. The link's in the description. And don't forget, if you'd like to read the full book, our affiliate link is right below. It helps support the channel and keeps the summaries coming. Until next time, keep reading, keep growing.